Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3532. Today's date is 12th of August 2025. It has been almost like a morning at 9:15 a.m. All right. So we directly jump into the questions. All right, let's go. Where is this question? Okay. As you say, never procrastinate or avoid working. Okay, what exactly is this thing? Okay, this question is actually agree or disagree. Okay, yeah. Are you agree that you never procrastinate or avoid working? First of all, let's just ask. Okay, yeah. Did I procrastinate? Okay, procrastinate or avoid working means like that. Okay, like time pass doing such a thing like that. All right, yeah. So, do I do any kind of like any procrastination? Um, yes, I do. Okay, is it bad? Uh, is it bad? Procrastination is bad or not? Obviously, it's bad. Okay, yeah. Why is bad? Okay, let me clarify. Okay, yeah. Procrastination is not a bad. Okay, yeah. If you are do it too much, then it is bad. Like basically, it's this thing that key. How much do you procrastinate? Okay, let me example to you. How do I kind of like actually procrastinate? Okay, yeah. Well, from my point of perspective, okay, yeah, that key when I'm kind of like simply waiting for somebody, or I don't really have kind of like simply anything, or like basically is this thing that key I am stuck at somewhere and I can't go anywhere at all. Like let's just say I went to the wedding with my mother. Obviously, I'm stuck. I can't do any kind of like simply work. If I'm waiting for somebody, yeah. So when you are kind of like simply utilize that time to access social media or things like that, is this called procrastination? No, it's not. That like at that time using social media is not considered as a procrastination. Procrastination happened when you kind of like simply sit in front of your desk, started your system, and instead of kind of like something working, you are scrolling some sort of reels, or this is kind of like a consider as a procrastination, means like that key you are kind of like a simply try to avoid that work, and this is something really wrong. Okay, yeah, because when you do that, it is kind of like a gives you little less productivity, and when you get little less productivity, you will not gonna be okay. It's you will not gonna kind of like a simply the work as good as possible that you can be. All right. So basically, do I do any kind of like procrastination? Okay, so let me clarify. Let me kind of like go through all the possible thing that I went through every single day, and kind of like figure it out that key did I do any kind of like only procrastination? Okay, yeah. So since I wake up, like as soon as I wake up, I kind of like a something waiting for number two. Okay, yeah. Kind of like simply exert the pressure. Like what is that? Like this thing. Like as soon as I wake up, I kind of like I have pressure inside of my stomach and I wanted to release that pressure, so I have to go to number two. Okay, yeah. But I think this is kind of like a some very bad habit inside of me that key I am kind of like a waiting. Okay, like basically waiting means what? Like basically waiting for pressure should supposed to be exert more. Okay, yeah. When the pressure is exert more, then it kind of like a release fast. So basically the pressure does not exert as fast as it. So I just have to wait. Okay, what is exactly is this thing? Is this thing na I'm just kind of like only waiting for pressure to get too much. Okay, when it get too much, then it's time to go to the number two and just like release all that thing. So I don't know, it's a kind of like some atomic clock or kind of like some body clock, I don't know, but this is what kind of like some my body work means. Like that, what exactly is this thing? Soon as I wake up and suddenly I just went to number two, I can't, it doesn't really create that much pressure. Okay, yeah. And because of it doesn't really create that much pressure, I don't really kind of like exhaust all those kind of like something uh, toxic tool out of my body. I can't do that. Okay, I need a little bit amount of time. Okay, yeah. So what I do is that as soon as I wake up, I just kind of like simply scroll through little bit of social media, look at the how many views that I get, how many subscribers that I get, how much my analytics and things like that. Like I am a YouTuber, yeah. So probably this is kind of like a list of that I do every single day. Kind of like I analyze that key, what is actually my last video, how it perform and things like that. Okay, yeah. During this particular period of time, I get little bit of pressure, and it's not really that key. It takes too much amount of time, max to max 10 minutes. Okay, yeah. Within a 10 minute, I get little bit of pressure, and when I get the pressure, I went to number two. Okay, yeah. So when I'm saying is this thing that as soon as I wake up, I open my mobile phone and open kind of like a social media, look at the analytics and things like that. Is it procrastination? I don't know. I don't really consider it's a procrastination because I don't really think it is that. Okay, because it's something really very essential thing for me. Okay, yeah, and no, I don't really consider it's a procrastination. No, it's a very essential thing for me, so I do it. Okay, even if other people are kind of like saying it's a procrastination, no, I don't really consider that. Okay, yeah. So all right, then I kind of like something do after the number two. I kind of like drink a lot of water, brush my teeth. Okay, yeah. Sorry, brush my teeth, then drink a lot of water. Then I suddenly record Artifact episode. Okay, let me tell you one thing. I record Artifact episode twice. Like basically from last month, I started deciding that ki let's record Artifact twice. Means like that ki early morning and after after the dinner. Okay, why? Because I think that na it's really essential that ki soon as you have to wake up, you just have to kind of like express your thoughts and things like that. Like it kind of like clear your mind in every possible way. So, and I don't know, but Artifact is kind of like a help me in so many ways and things like that. So yes, I kind of like record the Artifact for half an hour. Okay, yeah. After I record half an hour, I kind of like eat my breakfast or make my breakfast. Okay, yeah. Most of the time I have to kind of like simply eat my breakfast because my mother make it, but sometimes I have to make it. Okay, yeah. By the way, don't surprise, I can make little bit pohe or upma or things like that. Yeah, I can make. Okay, like I'm not kind of like guarantee you that it's tasteful, but it's good, you can eat it. Okay, yeah. Then what I do, I read. Okay, yeah. Also I decided that I should supposed to be read more oftenly. Okay, it's been almost like a 3 months I'm reading. Okay, because before that, 3 months ago, I was kind of like only not reading at all, nothing really at all. Like I haven't really read any kind of like only books and things like that. But soon I realized that ki reading is really essential. Okay, yeah, you can't consume lot of information through visual media or kind of like only like basically what exactly is this thing. I consider that na ki watching any kind of like a documentary or any kind of like some video regarding about educational thing, I might get all the information and things like that. Yeah, that is true, you will get all the information, but the reading is a kind of like a very essential thing. Because I realized that ki I because of I read very less in my entire period of lifetime, I am not reading that well. Okay, yeah. And even if I read it, I don't really understand the meaning of that word and things like that. Because of this thing that ki, like, let me tell you, I'm 32. Okay, almost 32. Okay, yeah. And basically is this thing, I read most of the books when I was in the school or college. Okay, then after that, I haven't really read that many books or nothing really at all. So because of I have very less like a basically negligible kind of like a something material to read or negligible kind of like a things, I never really read any kind of like a stuff. I never really read any newspaper, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, because of this habit na, I can't even read the Instagram caption. I can't even read the simple thing that is, I can't even read the YouTube title. Okay, yeah, I just read it couple of words and that's it, and I don't really contemplate most of the kind of like simply judge the YouTube video regarding about just a thumbnail of photo and things like that. Like basically is this thing, my brain is not really understanding the meaning of every single word, and this is what kind of like problem that I'm facing, like I face. Okay, yeah. So I realized that reading is really essential, not because of kind of like simply consuming the information and things like that, but it's also really essential so that I would kind of like simply understand the meaning of word. Okay, because I know in the future there is so many information that there doesn't really have any kind of like a simply video or things like that. So I have to be make sure that whatever the stuff that I read, it should supposed to be I understand. So reading is somewhat very very essential. So 3 months ago I kind of like simply started reading. Okay, yeah. And since then I kind of like decided that uh, let's read half an hour. Okay, yeah. Like basically like a couple of weeks ago I was kind of like decided that let's read 1 hour, but 1 hour is a kind of like a stretch too long, and other things are kind of like impact because I have other things to do. So I just read half an hour. Okay, yeah. What kind of like a material do you read? Mostly my artifact episodes. Okay, what exactly is that? Okay, so basically is this thing, the stuff that you are actually hearing right now is called artifact episode. Okay, yeah. One of the biggest problem, okay, I think still this is kind of like the biggest problem regarding about reading that I have, is that I can't read the book. What do you mean by that? You can't read the book? I can read the book, yeah. Like basically from practical point of perspective, if you kind of like giving me any kind of like paragraph, I could read. Okay, yeah. But like I don't really consider it's a kind of like reading. Okay, yeah. A reading means like that when you read something and when you get some sort of information after you read that thing. Let's just say that I tell you like I kind of like give you a story regarding about a short story regarding about love story. Okay, yeah. So basically, even if that story is really good, really good, and if I try to read it, I can't even read that entire love story, or I can't even understand entire love story. Why? Because of that, there is a kind of like some sort of problem inside of me that if the language is too much difficult to understand, then I can't understand the story, or I can't understand the sentence or things like that. And this is one of the biggest problem that I face. Okay, yeah. Same thing happened. Okay, yeah. Like let's just say a couple of days ago, I went to my relatives, and they have kind of like a book called Atomic Habit. Okay, yeah, really great book. I wanted to read that book, but I didn't really read that. Like basically this thing, I just kind of like started reading a couple of paragraphs, and then after that I realized that it just like this language is not connecting with me that much. Okay, yeah. So same thing happened with every material that I try to read. It just like I can't even connect with that story, or I can't connect with that particular things or something like that. So but I wanted to read. Okay, so what should I supposed to be read that make it kind of like something easy to understand and easy to read and things like that? So what I did is that let's start from artifact. Okay, artifact is a kind of like a some self expression that I'm doing for last 15 year. Okay, sorry, 10 years, sorry, some 10 year. Okay, yeah. And because of I have all those data, so why should I supposed to like I have to be read artifact? Because this is my story, I already lived that, so probably I'm gonna connect with it very much properly. So what I did is that I upload all my artifact in the YouTube platform. Why? Because YouTube is the only one platform that kind of like you can get subtitle from audio to subtitle with free. It's free. Okay, yeah. Like basically there are so many kind of like some AI things that you can upload your video and you upload your audio and then you get the subtitle, but those are really costly. They cost premium, they cost lot of thing, and as also they didn't really generate the subtitle as much as that. And as also my artifact episode is like I'm talking about almost like a 3,000 4,000 files. Okay, yeah. And each file is almost like maybe more than half an hour, or kind of like more than 10-15 minutes, so which is like a really, yeah, like I can't be supposed to be get any kind of like some software. So YouTube is the only one thing that kind of like a generate the subtitle automatically. Okay, yeah. whatever the language that you use. So this is what I did, is that key I upload all my artifact in the YouTube platform, and YouTube is kind of like a generate subtitle. By the way, I didn't really kind of like upload this thing for views and subscriber, nothing really at all. There is no intention at all, nothing really there. I need only one thing, is subtitle from the YouTube. That's it, I get that subtitle. Yeah, by the way, all my artifact is on public on the YouTube platform. If they wanted to kind of like listen, they could. Yeah, but probably one of the most intention that I have to be upload my artifact on YouTube platform, that key I have to get the free subtitles. Okay, yeah, with yeah. So basically, this thing, I get the subtitle, I copy that subtitle, put it into chat GPT, put the prompt that key remove the timeline, remove the serial number, remove the kind of like assembly unnecessary element, make it kind of like assembly easy to read, easy to understand, make it fun to read, and things like I put all this prompt, and kind of like a chat GPT actually converted that subtitle into the very good paragraph, okay, with subtitle and title and things like that. And when I read that thing, it's easily connect with me. It's very easy, it's kind of like a very fun to read, it's like a super amazing for every possible ways. And when I started reading that, I not only connected with that content, because of that key I already lived that, like basically is this thing that key I kind of like a mention regarding about what I feel regarding about particular woman that I like or crush and things like that. Okay, yeah, so I kind of like record this artifact years ago, and when I started reading those kind of like artifact in word format, I just feel like that I relive that particular moment entirely, and I'm just kind of like a thinking that I am reading my thoughts. It does feel like that, and it does feel really good. Okay, so that's why I'm kind of like a somebody, kind of like a making my material by my own. Okay, instead of reading someone material, or basically instead of kind of like a reading something another books or things like that, kind of like a somebody, I try that key I just have to make my book first and then I read it, so that I would kind of like assembly I'm kind of like assembly reading the kind of like assembly such an information that I could kind of like easy to consume and things like that. So I started with the artifact, and it kind of like assembly very easy to consume all those reading things and something like that. Okay, yeah, now I kind of like decided that key, okay, artifact you could do that. Okay, yeah, but what if you could kind of like read something even more complicated book? Okay, let's just say Bible. So basically a couple of week ago, I was kind of like a convert entire Bible into kind of like a something in this format, like a easy to language and easy to kind of like a something understand and things like that. I convert entire text into the very simple language, and when I started reading this thing, oh my god, I consume that information too. Like basically Bible is a really really complicated book, like a legit very complicated book, like every words are like a, yeah, like a still I kind of like a convert this entire Bible into simple format, but still is little bit difficult, but not really that much difficult. Like basically entire difficulty is kind of like a get very less, almost like a 90% of difficulty is gone, only 10% of difficulty was there because of the name and things like that. But still I could read the Bible and I could understand the Bible. I could kind of like a, right now I'm reading, I already completed couple of I already completed yesterday Joshua, and today I'm gonna start Judge. Okay, Judge is a kind of like a somebody book of those like a Bible is not, Bible is one book of multiple books. Okay, yeah, like there is a kind of like a something Genesis, and then Genesis, and then like there are multiple chapters, by the way. Genesis, sorry, Genesis, Exodus, then Joshua, then Leviticus. Okay, then multiple chapters. Okay, I'm reading right now. Okay, these are chapters are kind of like something very easy, very hard to pronounce, but yeah, I'm reading it that. And basically while reading those Bible, I understand so many ways, so that ki, what is exactly Bible, what is exactly kind of like assembly this religious is kind of like assembly based on. Because let me tell you one thing, I am not Christian, I haven't really read any kind of like assembly Christian book, or haven't really understand what is actually Christianity. But because of I'm kind of like reading this Bible, I just connect with all the possible things, what is actually this thing. Not because of kind of like assembly I want to be kind of like a follow the God and things like that. No, I'm kind of like thinking about that key, how does those people actually think on that period of time. Okay, yeah, like basically on that period of time, they actually kind of like emphasize God more and more. Okay, yeah, like basically let me tell you one thing, Bible is not also really good book. Definitely not. The stuff that they are mentioned is not resonate with the modern world. They actually kind of mention that ki you have to be kind of believe on your god, do not believe on false god and things and something like that. Those are kind of a thought process that are still not kind of simply valid right now. In the modern world, this is not kind of simply very right thing, but still these are kind of some thought process when those books are written on that period of time. I'm talking about almost a 4,000 year ago, which is at that time people doesn't really have any kind of some career and things like that, because at that time people only have one thing, to believe in god, and kind of somebody have, when they believe the god, they kind of somebody get the food, rain and things like that. So this is what it is. Okay, so at that time people actually consider that god is only one way, so that they could kind of live the life as better as it should supposed to be. But right now modern world are kind of a change, people thought process are changed. Okay, yeah, whatever. But what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, that key, the entire information that I told you regarding about the bible is because of I read the bible. Okay, yeah. And basically this thing, all those things actually happen is because of that key I converted entire bible into the simple language. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, I still have kind of some problem. Okay, yeah, because I could read the material that I own, that I created, but I can't able to read the kind of something such a material that is someone make it. Okay, yeah. So this is kind of a something problem. Okay, so I don't know, but I think if I'm kind of read it basically if I read for almost a year and things like that, then I might kind of consider myself that I could read on other people material. Okay, yeah. By the way, is this saying that it's not really that I just kind of read my only own material. What I do is that I just kind of take the someone book and kind of convert that entire book into the simple and easy language and easy to understand, and then I kind of print that entire book into my comfortable way of kind of understanding this thing, and then I read it. Okay, and then I also upload on the Amazon bookshelf. Okay, Amazon Kindle. By the way, if you wanted to read that book, it's very easy. Yeah, you can read it. Probably I don't know who is listening right now, but I don't know. I make that book for kind of something as much as easy as possible as you can. So basically is this thing, the people who just can read, they also can understand the kind of some language, because I kind of make that book in as easy as possible. By the way, I didn't really make it. It's artificial intelligence. It's a chat GPT is actually make it. I just put the prompt and that's it. Oh yeah, whatever. So this is what I do. So basically I wanted to kind of emphasize my quality of reading. So that's why I'm kind of somebody try to reading more and more as possible as I can. Okay, yeah. Okay, after the read, then I mop the floor. Okay, I'm living with my parents. Okay, yeah. So basically it's this thing, you have to mop the floor, you have to kind of do the things that kind of somebody do the things at work, like mopping the floor and kind of cleaning the dishes and things like that. So yeah, I do that. Okay, and then after that I kind of simply shower. Okay, yeah, and then I started doing my work. Okay, yeah. By the way, I am kind of a YouTuber. I am make a content regarding about the Photoshop, photography and graphic designing. And basically is this thing, because of kind of I'm a graphic designer, I'm kind of a focus on how do I supposed to make my content as good as possible as I can. Okay, yeah. So I consume that thing, basically I kind of make that content. Let me tell you one thing. Okay, regarding about the content creation. Okay, since till now I almost created almost a 400-500 projects on Photoshop and things like that. Okay, yeah, as also in Adobe Premiere Pro. So basically is this thing, I am kind of somebody very much experience in this thing, creative thing. Okay, yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, while I was kind of working, while I was creating content, I don't need to be kind of emphasize all those attention into the making the content. Yeah, basically I have to be kind of a fully focus on kind of somebody brainstorming the idea, what should I supposed to be make and things like that. But after I create the idea, and then after that it's very easy, it's not really that hard. It's like that I just have to make it on Photoshop. And while I was making this thing on Photoshop, I could watch the YouTube video, I could watch Dhurati videos, I could watch some sort of educational videos. And basically when I watch those videos, I not only get the information as well as I create the content. And when I do that, the time goes very rapidly and I just don't really realize that. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me tell you one thing. that key this is what I do. But sometimes I just experience that, okay, yeah, after I ate my kind of something lunch and things like that, okay, I kind of continue this content creation while I was watching those YouTube videos and things like that. But be specifically at 4:30 or maybe 5 p.m, there is a kind of a moment that my brain is just shutting down. I don't know why, but it just shut down automatically. It just I just can't even look at it. It just I don't know. This is kind of a feeling that I don't know how to I supposed to explain. It just shut down by its own. I just yeah, I'm just it's a kind of a sleep, but it's so deep sleep that it's just it just I can't. Okay, so when that period of when this thing happened, so what I do, I decided that I shouldn't supposed to be sleep at afternoon. Okay, yeah. So I am not wanted to sleep at afternoon. So I am kind of somebody avoid to sleep at afternoon. Okay, but still at 4:30 or 5 p.m, my brain is just freezing. It just shut down by its own. Okay, and I wanted to create the content. I wanted to come to kind of a done my work and things like that before 6:30 p.m, because after the 6:30 p.m I went to work out. Okay, so when this thing happened, I just kind of somebody just I kind of put the little bit water. I kind of wash my face, and then I watch some sort of reels for at least a 10-15 minute. Okay, I purposefully watch reels. Okay, at that time, why? Because reels are and with high brightness, legit high brightness. I put the entire brightness into full on, and kind of read the kind of not the reel, kind of watch the reels with high volume and things like that. Why? Because this high brightness and kind of a full volume and this a full dopamine reel is kind of a awake me my brain very rapidly. Okay, yeah, it's just whoa. Okay, this is what is for 10-20 minutes of scrolling reels. It just my brain is kind of somebody just refresh by its own. Okay, yeah. And since I have really control in my kind of watching vertical videos, okay, it's not really happened as it is basically what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that key since 2020 I decided that I shouldn't supposed to watch any kind of vertical video, and since then I control myself in way more possible way. Okay, yeah. So that's some kind of only watching any vertical videos, I control myself that how much should I supposed to be watch. Okay, yeah. But if you're kind of doing this thing, it will not gonna work out. If you started scrolling, then you might gonna scroll for an hour and you don't really understand where that time goes. Okay, yeah. But if you're gonna kind of only do it, okay, if you try to kind of a less use of your vertical video, it kind of only implement on long run, but it will not gonna impact on at the early stage. Because I am kind of doing this since 2020, it's been almost a 5 years, so I'm very much controlled regarding about the consumption of vertical videos, and I only use vertical videos for kind of something to kind of giving me little bit of advantage and things like that. Okay, yeah. It's not really that key. I just never really watch any kind of vertical videos. I watch, but I just kind of something you watch that vertical videos for kind of something if I'm stuck at somewhere time, or maybe I prefer to be watch long form of video instead of watch vertical videos, because I don't know, when I watch the vertical video I don't really understand what I watch. Okay, basically it's this thing, if I spend almost a half an hour of watching vertical videos, after the half an hour I don't really understand what I watch. I don't really get any kind of information. It just it just fades away very rapidly, and this didn't really happen with a long form video. Let's just see if I watch the Dhruv Rathi videos. Okay, yeah. So if I watch Dhruv Rathi video for almost a half an hour, I get entire the information regarding about what does Dhruv Rathi saying regarding about this and that and that and that. Okay, yeah. And when I get that, I kind of get a little bit of values and stuff like that. But when I watch 30-minute vertical videos, I didn't really get anything at all. Nothing really. I don't really remember what I watch in the vertical video. It is that. So but it's not really happened very soon. I just control myself in every possible way to kind of try to avoid those vertical video as much as possible. So that's some kind of reach at this stage. Okay, to kind of use vertical videos to kind of somebody giving me a little bit of advantage and things like that. Okay, yeah. Whatever. So basically I watch 10-20 minutes of vertical videos to kind of control myself, and kind of my brain will be awake. Okay, and when my brain will be awake, I watch song. Okay, video basically a music video song. in the YouTube platform. Because let me tell you one thing, after I kind of like watched the reel and then I decided that let's watch any kind of like educational video, I can't do that. Nothing related at all. Any kind of like educational video or podcast video, no, I can't do that. Like basically it will kind of like giving me all those kind of like something that sleepy mode, and no, nothing at all. So I make sure that I'm gonna watch any kind of like a music video and things like that. So I just put the music video after the 5 p.m. and kind of like do my work till I complete my content. Okay, yeah. Because why does I watch the music video? Because music video is kind of like a little bit kind of like, it's not vertical video, it's a music video. I'm talking about the music video. Okay, yeah. So that music video is kind of like have a little bit of kind of like some beat and things like that. Okay, so it kind of like somebody giving me a little bit of energies and things like that, and then I complete my content. After I done my content, okay, yeah, also I make sure that I wanted to make at least 2 pieces of content. Okay, like basically design plus reel plus another design plus reel. So like if I design and reel, that is one content, another design and another reel, that is another content. Okay, so I make sure that I should supposed to be kind of like a done two reels per day. Okay, 2 pieces of content every single day. But sometimes it doesn't really happen, because like basically I do all those things. So sometimes it just happened once, and then second is kind of like I just do the design, and rest of the editing will gonna happen tomorrow. Okay, yeah. But I will gonna make sure that my content should supposed to be upload every fucking single day. Okay, yeah. Like basically from last 2 year I'm just kind of like being really consistent. Yeah, I haven't really take any single day of break. Okay, my content is always uploading every fucking single day. Why I'm saying fucking, I don't know why, but I'm kind of like really proud that I'm kind of like maintain that consistency for last 2 year, sorry, 1 year and 1 year and almost like 6 months. It's almost like a 1.5 year. Okay, it's not really that. So I kind of like made that consistency for 1.5 years, so which is really good. I'm really proud of myself that again I did that thing. Okay, by the way, I'm not earning any kind of like money on YouTube, nothing really at all. Okay, then I kind of like assembly after that I complete my content. It's been almost like a 6:30 and I went to work out. Let me tell you one thing, I run every single day. Like like basically it's just all this artifact right now. It's kind of like a telling that what I'm doing and things like that. But yeah, like basically let me tell you one thing now, I also run for last 3 year. Okay, yeah, like basically from last 3 year I'm kind of like running every single day, and it kind of like giving me like so much of values. Okay, because let me tell you one thing, I can't afford the gym right now. Okay, yeah, and I really need a workout. Okay, because if I'm kind of like sit in front of my desk, then this is not really good thing. So I'm gonna make sure that I should supposed to be kind of like move my body and run and things like that. Okay, gymming is a thing, but I can't afford. Okay, so I kind of like assembly go to the public ground and kind of like a run for half an hour non-stop without stopping, just run. Okay, yeah, so I just run, and I'm running for like a last 3 year. Yeah, 3 year. Yeah, it's been almost running for 3 year every single day, running 30 minutes. So I'm getting very used to with this running and things like that. Okay, after that I also play badminton too with my friend Prashik. Okay, which is really good. Okay, yeah. And then I met with my friend. Okay, yeah, like basically after I do my kind of like a workout and play sports, I kind of like met with my friend and kind of like just eat little bit of, not like just take a tea, or probably, okay, spend a little bit of time with someone else that you can kind of like feel really good and things like that. Okay, yeah. So I went to work out for 6:30 and came after at almost like a 8:30 or almost like a 9 p.m. Okay, so it's been almost like a maybe 2.5 hours of kind of like a working out and spending time with someone else. Okay, like usually I came at 8:30, and after I came I kind of like somebody took the shower and things, and then I ate my dinner. And after I ate my dinner, I just kind of like record the artifact. Okay, and after that I kind of like do the remaining work, like designing and things like that. Okay, so this is my entire routine that I'm following for last 2 year, yeah, 2.5 year. Okay, yeah, like basically I'm kind of like following this kind of like some routine for almost like maybe 2020. But since 2020 to 2022 I am kind of like assembly, like if I'm gonna say that I am like, I'm not following the exact same routine from last 5 year, but almost like a 70 to 60 to 70% I'm following this routine for last 5 year. Okay, yeah, last 5 year. So this is kind of like assembly my routine. Okay, Now the question is that regarding about this is my routine, this is kind of like a stuff that I do every single day. Is it kind of like a somebody do any kind of like a procrastination? Well, I significantly reduce my procrastination time, yeah, so much, and which is kind of like a really helpful. It's first of all, it's not happen in the day, in a month or in a week. No, nothing at all. I put the effort every single day. And obviously at the beginning it was like a really difficult for kind of like a simply stopping this procrastination, things like that. But I understand my value, I understand my time, and I kind of like a realize what is actually important for me. And since then I'm kind of like a utilize everything to kind of like a make me as productive as I can. So because of I'm kind of like a being more and more productive every single day, I'm kind of like a doing very less and less procrastination. Okay, so uh, procrastination is kind of like a simply a journey that you just have to do it. It's not the destination. Okay, yeah, you cannot stop the procrastination, and you cannot be a productive always 100%. No, nothing at all. It's a kind of like a simply the vice versa, that if you increase a little bit productivity, it can reduce a little bit procrastination. Okay, and you just have to do it every single day. And basically do not kind of like a somebody focus on the destination that after a 2 year I will gonna kind of like a reduce all the procrastination, things like that. I don't know, or maybe it didn't really work out with me, like I don't know. I still do very little bit of procrastination, but it's kind of like a somebody little bit kind of like utilizing this procrastination for kind of like a somebody advantage of me. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so regarding about the procrastination, things like that, do I do any kind of like procrastination? Well, this is what I do every single day. Okay, yeah. And yeah, all right. So this is it, and thank you.